I lost thousands of dollars investing in my digital business, wondering why it would not grow. Then I realized that the issue was not the amount of money I was putting in the business, but really how I was using my time and how I was managing my time. And so in today's video, I'm going to share with you 20 tips for you to better manage your time while you're building your digital business. Now, full disclosure here, I'm a father. I have two beautiful boys. I'm a husband. I own 2 consulting companies, 2 digital businesses, and I also have extracurricular activities that I like to tend to. So as you can imagine, I run a full schedule. Your situation might be the same. Maybe you have a 9 to 5, maybe you have a family that you're taking care of, or you're taking care of a loved one. The biggest commodity and the biggest asset you have is time. And the way you manage it is going to be the difference between making it and not making it at all. So let's get started with tip number 1. You need to set clear objectives and goals for your digital business. Now, what I mean by a clear objective and goals is quite simple. You can use the SMART method, which simply means it's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant, and it's time bound. When you have that for these 5 criteria for your objectives, then you have a higher likelihood of actually meeting those objectives. Now, a pro tip here for you is that you want to break down those goals into actionable monthly or weekly targets. So I'll give you an example. If one of my goals was to be able to generate $10,000 a month of monthly income from my YouTube channel, for example, I would break that down into a 12-month plan. You see, I need to get there by month 12. I don't necessarily need to get there by month 1. So what are the things that I need to do in month 1, month 2, and month 3, and so on and so forth in order to reach that ultimate goal of generating $10,000 worth of revenue from my YouTube channel? And so by breaking down your objectives into monthly and into weekly activities, there's a highly likelihood that you'll be able to reach those goals. Number 2, you want to create a weekly schedule. Now, the importance here of your weekly schedule is to determine how many hours a week or a day you're going to put on that specific task that's going to help drive those activities. This is extremely important because if you're like me, if I spend too much time not doing a certain activity, when I get back to doing that specific activity, it actually takes me more time to ramp up and do that thing. So I'll give you another simple example. I'm recording this video right now. When I'm recording videos once or twice a week, it takes me less time to record videos for my YouTube channel because it's a lot easier and I'm already in the flow of things. But if I spend 3 full weeks not recording anything, on that 4th week when I start recording, it'll be very difficult for me to do so because I've lost the habit or the discipline of recording my videos. And so it's really important when you're setting your weekly schedule to make sure that those critical and core tasks that you have to reach your objective, you're doing consistently. So block 30 minutes or an hour every day or every other day to make sure that you're moving forward with reaching those objectives. Number 3, you want to consider using a project management tool that can help you drive the discipline and the rigor required for you to meet your objective. There are a lot of free tools available out there. The first one that comes to mind for me is Trello. It's a very easy to use app, and I think they might have a free version with limited functionality, but I'll put the link in the description below so that you can check it out if you'd like to. This video is not being sponsored by Trello, so feel free to use the tool or not. The important thing here is that you can use systems in order to help you be more organized in the way you manage your time. By the way, I have a checklist of 21 things that you might want to consider before launching your first digital product. It's completely free and I'll put the link below if you want to check it out and use it as a guide to help you launch your first digital project over the weekend. It's something that you could certainly use. Number 4, waking up 1 hour earlier every day. Now, I know that there's a huge movement around waking up early, and I think it's totally legitimate. There's a book called The 5 a.m. Club that speaks to the benefits of waking up early, and I'm all for it. But the truth of the matter is sometimes that's not possible. Waking up at 4 o'clock or 5 a.m. in the morning is difficult enough for me, but maybe 45 to an hour earlier than what you do might be a reasonable objective for you. The trick here is to get more productive time in the morning because the mornings are typically where your brain cells are super active and there's a lot of inspiration, discipline, and creativity that you can have in your morning. So just put your clock half an hour to an hour earlier every morning and use that time as productive time and focus time to build your digital business. Number 5, batch similar tasks together. Now, this is a really important one. If you're recording videos, for example, for your YouTube channel and you want to record one video every week, rather than just recording one video every week, what you might want to consider is preparing your script for 4 or 5 videos in 1 week and then do batch recording the following week. You see, by batching things together, you become better at it and more efficient because you're lumping a bunch of similar activities together. That's the whole notion of batching. Batching together will allow you to be more productive productive and more efficacious with the time that you have. Number 6, and number 6 is actually a big one, setting daily priorities. Oftentimes I get overwhelmed when I look at my weekly schedule because I see the number of things that I need to do. The truth of the matter is though, if I were to take a look at my schedule on a day-to-day basis, I could most likely identify 1 or 2 key activities that if I were to complete those, and they would help me get closer to the ultimate objective that I have of monetizing my YouTube channel as an example. And so this is really important. If you identify those 1 or 2 milestone critical daily tasks that you need to complete in order to move forward, you'll see that you'll be able to build momentum and that you'll be able to get some traction with building your digital business. Number 7 is a really easy one. It's using a timer or the Pomodoro technique in order to make sure that you're focused with the time that you use. I use a digital clock here that's called Tick Time, I believe, and it's a really cool tool that you can use. Then I'll put it here so that you can see it. It's a really cool tool that you can use where you could put it set the timer for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you want. The idea here is that you want to have focused, uninterrupted, productive time, preferably in batches of 20 to 25 minutes. The trick is here, you could be focused for 25 minutes and then you take a 5-minute break and so on and so forth. If you do that 2 or 3 times in a row, you've been productive for a full 90 minutes, and during that 90 minutes, you'll get a lot done. This is a lot more productive than spending half a day or spending 2 hours uninterrupted doing one single task. The truth of the matter is your brain actually gets tired after doing certain things, and you're losing momentum and efficacy and concentration if you keep going. So by using a Pomodoro system, you'll actually be able to batch it in a way that works better for you. Number 8 is a trick that I developed over time. Is simply using your breaks in order to be more productive. Now you want to be careful with that because a break is meant for you to actually take a break. But if you have an hour and a half of available time during your day and it's actually a break because you're on lunch or you're doing something else, you may want to leverage that time, or at least part of that time, in order to drive your agenda. You might want to use a part of that time in order to actually be productive and do some product research, investing in your business, looking at different ideas, and so on and so forth. So leveraging every available minute of your day in order to work on your business is a smart goal. What you don't want to do, however, is you don't want to go crazy on that, because you also want to take a breather in all of this, and you want to make sure that you can disconnect when it's necessary. Number 9, automate repetitive tasks. There are some things that you can automate that will make your life easier. You can automate, auto schedule, for example, your post on your YouTube channel. You can automate certain tasks like email responses, or even some client inquiries if people inquire about your products. You need to add automation wherever you can, because the truth of the matter is your time is really limited, and what you don't want to do is you don't want to overstretch yourself. Now, number 10 is a big one. It was a big one for me, and it's simply limiting your time on social media. It's really different for you to consume social media for educational purposes, but the truth of the matter is a lot of us consume social media for everything, and we do it whether we're on the boil, we do it whether we're on our car, whether we're at work, or even when we're in the washroom, doing our business. So limiting the amount of social media you're consuming can actually help with your productivity and will allow you to focus your time and your energy where it really matters. Number 11, delegate or outsource where it makes sense. I'm a big believer in outsourcing those tasks that I'm not good at. So I'm not particularly good at accounting. I'm not particularly good at design. I'm not particularly good at video editing, and so on and so forth. Of course, when I started out, I needed to do all of this stuff myself, but then I realized that there was a bigger return on my investment of time if I could focus on looking at you and sharing the content and my knowledge with you rather than playing with design and recording and all that fun jazz. And so I outsource some of these tasks to people that love doing it and that have it as a passion and that can do it for me at a lot cheaper than I would do it myself. I use sites like Upwork or Fiverr in order to get some good freelancers to help me out in running my digital business. Number 12, plan your week ahead. You know, there was a study done a few years ago, and the question that was asked to a number of CEOs is, when do you actually plan your week? And most of these CEOs indicated that the Sunday night is the day that they do all of their planning for the week ahead. I would like to suggest to you that that tip is actually pretty good for you and for me today. By taking some time on Sunday to look at your week and make sure that all of the blocks of your schedules are lined up, it'll give you peace of mind going into the Monday, and it will give you the confidence that you've allocated your time on those tasks that are the most important to run your business. Number 3, now this is a bit of a productivity hack that you might want to consider. It's called using waiting time productively. Now, the waiting time is time that you have to wait for something to happen. Maybe you're going to the doctor doctor's office. Maybe you're at Costco and there's a long line before you're able to fill up the tank of gas. That time, that wait time, is time that you can be productive by doing 1 or 2 tasks that might help you drive revenue or income, or help you meet the objectives that you set up for your business. So I want you to identify the wait time opportunities throughout the week and leverage those with smaller tasks that you can use. Now, I want to be very, very mindful here. I'm not suggesting that if you're at a red light, you should be using your phone as a quote unquote wait time to drive revenue for your business. That's irresponsible. I'm really talking about those situations where you have to wait a few minutes for something else to happen and you can safely run your business or do an added value task that's going to help you reach your objectives. Number 14, setting boundaries with families and friends. As you can imagine, I have a relatively big family and I've got some close friends as well. The way I manage my priorities, however, is focused primarily on how I'm going to grow my business and how I'm going to take care of my family. These two priorities may compete in some instances. My friends and my family also understand that because I'm trying to build a business, I have to invest time in the business and running the operations of my shop. And so it doesn't mean that you're not spending any time with your family, but you have to set realistic boundaries around what's important and what's less important. That means that if you call me on Friday night because you want to go out, chances are I'm going to say no, because that's my recording time, or it's my research time, or it's my design time, and so on and so forth. So number 15 is a big one. It's one actually that it was a real eye opener for me. It's tracking your time to identify those areas where you're wasting time. You can use apps such as Toggle or Rescue Time in order to track how you're spending every hour of the day. If you do that for a couple of weeks, you're going to realize that you have a lot more available and productive time than you actually believe. And this is the first step in raising your awareness of where you ought to be investing your time. And so use these tools. Some of them are free, others are tools that you have to pay for, in order to identify the opportunities within your existing schedule for you to leverage and maximize that time investment that you have, that you're making for your digital business. Number 16, focus on revenue generating activities first. Now, this is a big one because I know that a lot of us are creatives and we love design and we love doing those things that really like turn us on. If these things are not generating revenue, they have to be secondary. Your first objective when you're building your digital business would be to generate income and generate revenue. Once you do that, you can take a look at other things, but generating revenue is extremely important. And so when you're looking at your time, if you have 100 hours of available, a good 60 to 70% of that time should be allocated to activities that are going to help drive and generate revenue. Number 17, limit decision fatigue by creating routines. Now, this is really, really powerful, but creating simple routines to reduce decision making is going to make your life so much more easier. So for example, set regular times for specific time, like product creation, marketing, and so on and so forth. If you have a routine, it becomes a habit. If you have a habit, it becomes an innate behavior. And the moment you've hacked your behaviors, you're in the right direction to generating revenues and having your digital business grow. Number 18, use a template whenever you can. I'm a big proponent of templates. I love having a system to help me go faster so I don't think of things. So I have a template for my YouTube channel. I have a template for my digital products. I have a template for the websites that I come up with. And by systemizing the approach with a template, I lose less time and it makes me more efficacious in building my digital business and building my brand over time. Number 19 is very simple. Create an accountability system in order to make sure that you stay honest towards yourself. Guys, I can't say how much accountability is important when you're building a digital business. You see, when you have a physical asset, it's a lot easier for people to see things. But when you have a digital asset and you have a digital brand, for example, that you're building, people might see you in front of a camera thinking that you're actually working, but you're not really working. You're doing something else on that camera. So having a mentor, a coach, or an accountability circle, or even a community of like-minded individuals that can think with you and also ask you difficult questions is definitely key to help you drive forward and build momentum over time. Number 20. Now, number 20 is most likely the most important one, and oftentimes it's the one that's not talked about enough. I want you to reward yourself every time you've met a milestone. Now, this is really important. You'll remember that the first thing you're doing here is that you're setting an objective. As you're setting that objective for the next year and you've broken it down in 12 months, well, celebrate after month 1, celebrate after month 2. Every time you reach a milestone, I want you to celebrate, because that's going to give you encouragement for you to keep going and keep keep pushing. And your accountability circle needs to rejoice with you, literally, when you're meeting these milestones. So building a digital business while you have a 9-to-5 or while you're taking care of your family, it's a marathon, it's not a race. You have to be patient, you have to be diligent, but the key here is to be consistent. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, to share this video with a friend, and smash the like button, and I'll catch you on the next one.